Our 11 Investigates team is digging into the story of a man who spent time behind bars. You may not know the name Arty Richter, but he could make legal history in Lucas County next month. Lead investigator Brian Duggar with his story.
Life in Point Place these days is pretty simple for Kristen and Arty Richter.
Come on.
But nearly 6 years ago, their world exploded.
I felt like my whole life had just been ripped away from me. It had been ripped away from me. My security, my whole everything was gone.
I should have never went out that night. I should have just went home.
But he didn't. On January 31st, 2018, Richter and his uncle, Daniel Vasquez, decided to go out for a drink.
My uncle said, hey, let's go down to Brad's place. Brew house used to be called Brad's.
At some point, Richter, his arm in a sling from rotator cuff surgery, began arguing with a man named Carl Wimpy. And the argument turned physical. Wimpy hit Vasquez with a left hook. Richter's 59-year-old uncle was knocked out and never regained consciousness. He died 4 days later. Believing he instigated the fight, a grand jury indicted Richter on one count of inciting to violence, a third-degree felony.
I thought this was a joke. I'm going, this is insane.
I didn't really think a whole lot of it.
So I had hired an attorney, and he had come to me and told me that he could probably get me a F4 attempt to commit an offense. And I said, an attempt to commit an offense of what?
Then, according to the Richters, prosecutors threatened to re-indict him for complicity in the commission of murder.
I figured if they had enough evidence to do that, they would have done that in the first place. They're just threatening him. No way. We will not take a plea deal.
But then he was re-indicted on June 25th, and on September 18, 2018, a jury found Arty guilty of both charges. He was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison.
The verdict come back within 2.5 hours. So that quick of a verdict, I assumed that yes, I'm going home, it's over. When the guilty verdict was read, I said, I'm in complete shock.
He called me on the phone, and I was standing outside of the courtroom, and all we could say is, oh my God, what just happened? Oh my God, what just happened? I used to always be the positive one, and when they read that guilty plea, I lost all hope there. Bit of a nervous breakdown. Yeah, went through a lot from it. He didn't lose hope, and I'm so grateful for that, because I did.
That hope was rewarded on December 31st, 2019, when the 6th District Court of Appeals vacated not only the incitement conviction, but also the complicity to murder conviction. In its decision, the court wrote, the state has failed to introduce sufficient evidence to support a conviction for the crimes with which the appellant was charged. Though the court found Richter's action troubling, the justices indicated that prosecutors dramatically overcharged the Toledoan. Appellant's conduct would fit squarely within the parameters of disorderly conduct, a 4th-degree misdemeanor punishable by no more than 30 days in jail. Richter, however, lost more than 2 years. Next month, he could make Lucas County legal history. He's filed a civil suit against the state, accusing them of wrongful imprisonment. Now, if he wins, he could become the first person in Lucas County to be compensated for being wrongfully convicted.
This isn't about compensation, really. It's more about righting the wrong and standing up to the system for what they do. It's never been about money, it's been about standing up to them. Because they do this to so many people. They could do this to you, they do this to you, they'll do it to anybody.
Kristen says she's stronger, but still healing. Arty says his anger is mostly gone.
Come on. Come on. I found peace. It took a long time to find peace. You know, I seen a meme that says, what did peace cost? It cost me a lot. Financially, you know, my freedom, this, that. But at this point, I found peace in all of this.
I talked to Arty and his wife for several hours for this story, and they don't want people to forget that Daniel Vasquez died in this incident. But Arty also mentioned others who have had claims of innocence in Lucas County that he doesn't want people to forget. Carl Willis, Wayne Brady, Danny Brown, Eric Mish, Stoney Thompson. Now, I did have an encouraging conversation with Lucas County Commissioner Pete Kirkin last week. He says he is still committed to a conviction integrity unit in Lucas County. So we're going to keep you updated. Reporting in studio, this is Brian Duggar for WTUL.